Good afternoon. My name is Chef Paul Bringas, and I'm with Joliet Junior College's Culinary Arts program. And I'm excited today to bring you a dish that we actually serve on our menu in Saveur restaurant up here on the second floor. And I'm going to do a pistachio crusted striped bass, and it's going to be served with a cauliflower tabbouleh and also a lime curry vinaigrette. And this is a very light, sort of early spring, summer dish. Not a lot of components. Your prep time for this dish would probably take you about an hour, and it's mainly just cutting up vegetables and some herbs. So you can use just about any type of fish you like. If you like salmon, that's perfectly fine. If you like bass, that's great. It works very nice for halibut and cod. So really, whatever you can find fresh on the market would work really well. So the first thing we're going to do is what we call a three-step breading procedure. And what I have right here in front of me is a little mixture of half and half, 50-50 AP flour and cornstarch. A little bit of egg wash, just 3 or 4 eggs that have been whisked with a little bit of water. And then over here is my breading. It's just some toasted pistachio and some panko breadcrumb, which is kind of a more coarse breadcrumb. It gives the fish, or whatever you bread with it, a really, really nice crunch. So I'm going to do the three-step breading procedure, and the goal is to keep all of the egg and breading and flour off your hands as much as possible. So we always say we want to keep one dry hand and one wet. I like to use tweezers. You can certainly use a small pair of tongs. We're going to season our fish first with a little kosher salt and a little bit of twist of some fresh black pepper. And then I'm just going to use my tongs to gently lift the fish and get it in. First tray is flour and cornstarch mixture, and then you really want to shake up that extra flour. You don't want to drag that flour into the egg, especially if you're doing a large volume of breading, and if you incorporate a lot of flour into your egg wash, it'll get pretty gummed up pretty quick. So I'm just going to give this a nice little coating of egg, and just for a second, you want to drain all that extra egg, let it drip off. So again, you're not getting too much egg into your breadcrumb and causing a lot of lumps to form. Okay, so now we're going to go into the breading. I'm going to use my dry hand to gently coat my fish all the way around with breadcrumb, and then give it a nice pat down so that the breadcrumbs stick. Oops, all right. Now this is going to go on a tray to relax. And then we're going to move on to our next step, which is preparing the lime curry vinaigrette, which will be sort of the sauce for our dish. So now that I have my fish three-step breaded, it's taking a little bit of rest so that the flour and the coating mixture will set on the fish. So that gives us an opportunity to make our nice little lime curry vinaigrette. So I have just a few ingredients here. I'm going to start with some honey right into my bowl, and some Dijon mustard. And it's about a teaspoon of each. And what these two ingredients do for the vinaigrette is actually help to emulsify it and get everything into a little cohesive dressing. So I have some lime zest, and I have some minced fresh ginger to give it a little bit of a nice gingery punch, some shaved garlic, some lime juice, and that's juice of about 1 lime, and some apple cider vinaigrette. I should say vinegar. Okay, so let's set these aside here. And now we're just going to add our oil in a steady stream, whisking all the time, and see if we can get this into a nice, beautiful emulsification. So you want to start slow with your oil and let the dressing, the vinaigrette, build up a little strength. If you add the oil too fast, your vinaigrette will separate and break. So whisking all the way. This is a very nice, light, flavorful dressing, which pairs nicely with our pistachio. And then as the vinaigrette is building strength, you could whisk in the oil just a little bit faster. Okay, that's looking pretty good. We're going to give that a taste. We're going to need to season that, of course, with some salt and pepper. Oh, that's good. Really nice and bright. Kind of makes your mouth water. And a true vinaigrette is going to have a little bit of that nice acidity to it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and just set this aside. And then I'm going to go ahead and proceed in making the tabbouleh with the cauliflower. Okay, so we made our vinaigrette, and that's going to rest for just a few minutes. And in the meantime, the last item we're going to do is our third dish, and that's a cauliflower tabbouleh. Now, tabbouleh is typically made with bulgur wheat. I'm going to eliminate the grain on this one and leave it a more of a vegetarian-style dish. And the way to make the cauliflower into what they call cauliflower rice, or very small florets, is just to use a regular cheese grater, or we call this a box shredder, and then just take it on the large holes and just grate it like you would grate a nice piece of cheese. And that'll break down the broccoli very nicely. And it's very good, it's light, it's very healthy, it gives the dish a nice little crunch. Alternately, you could use a small food processor, and if you pulse the food processor, you'll get the same results and maybe even a little bit quicker. So I'm just going to make enough for maybe 1 to 2 servings. You can certainly add a grain to this if you like. If you like bulgur wheat, it would be a nice addition to add to it. But like I said before, in this application, I'm just going to use the fresh cauliflower. Okay, so we'll just set this aside for just a second. And then this is going to go straight into the bowl. You see it's got a really nice texture, just kind of like a large grain rice. And most of the time in the preparation for this dish is really going to be the chopping. So you have some tomatoes that I just cut into some nice wedges. Those are going to go in. Some peeled English cucumber into a dice. A little bit of red onion that's been finely sliced or shaved. Some zest of a lemon. A little lemon juice. Some curry powder. Some fresh mint. And some shaved parsley. Okay, now I'm going to get a little salt and pepper going here. I'm a big fan of freshly ground black pepper. I really love the flavor of it. A little salt. I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil to this, just to loosen things up just a little. And then we're just going to give it a nice little stir. Now you can see all the really nice colors. And it has a lot of really delicious texture to it. Just a little bit of spice from the curry, and very, very nice, bright salad. You could actually eat this on its own, right out of the bowl. It's delicious. I've had it with tortilla chips and hummus, and you can put a little of this tabbouleh right on the top. You can even mix this into a regular salad and fortify it with some good vegetables and some cauliflower. So it's very, very versatile. All right, we'll set that aside. And that is the cauliflower tabbouleh. At this point, I'm going to go over and saute the piece of fish, and then I'll bring everything to the plate and plate it really nice for you for the day. So we have our cauliflower tabbouleh all ready to go. We're letting it marinate for a little bit just to combine the flavors. It can be done overnight. It can be done for a few minutes. It's really fresh tasting. We have our vinaigrette done, and so right now we're going to go ahead and cook our piece of pistachio and panko crusted sea bass. I'm going to use a nice heavy pan, a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to use a little bit of butter as well. And once that butter just kind of starts to sizzle and melt and brown just a little bit, I'm going to add my fish. And you want to be careful that you don't burn the breadcrumbs. You just want to get them nice and golden. And then you're going to flip the fish. Oftentimes, if it's a thicker piece of fish, over an inch thick, you probably want to finish that in the oven. This is about a 1/2 inch. I'm pretty confident this will finish in the pan. I'll probably just let it rest as I'm preparing the dish. So what we're going to do is let this get really nice and beautiful and brown. And then we're going to let it rest for a minute or two, and then we're going to go ahead and plate for you. So I just wanted to bring up that both restaurants, Thrive and Saveur, are participating in Joliet City's Restaurant Week, and we have some really amazing deals. Our food is already so reasonably priced and so good, but we're offering specials like complimentary appetizer with the purchase of an entree or a dessert, and a lot of other goodies along the way. So if you haven't had the chance to come visit the restaurants, this is the week to do it and see what all of the excitement is about down here at the City Center with the student-run restaurants. All right, so we're getting some really nice color here. I'm going to turn my heat just down just a little bit. And then I'm going to flip my fish over. We got some nice color on it. I smell the pistachios cooking. It smells really, really wonderful in here. And we're just going to let this finish cooking. It's going to sit in the pan for about another 2 to 3 minutes. We'll let it rest. And the residual heat will cook your fish all the way through. And the best way to tell if your fish is cooked is just give it a little press. And if it starts to give, it's probably ready to serve. Okay, so we're just going to let that rest, take a little break, and I'll get the plate ready to serve. So all of our components are ready. We have our Cauliflower Tabbouleh, our lime curry vinaigrette, our beautifully crusted pistachio and panko farm-raised bass, and we're going to go ahead and plate the dish for you. So first I'm going to lay down a pretty generous portion of the tabbouleh. Okay, and then I'm going to top it with my nice piece of fish here. Okay. I'm just going to spoon over. I don't really want to cover the whole piece of fish with vinaigrette because you've got this nice, beautiful crust. So you really maybe just go around the dish with this. Okay. And now I just picked some celery hearts. These nice, beautiful green leaves. And you can just place them around for a nice little extra crunch, little decoration. And then some nice little spring pea shoots, just to top it off with. Okay. A little plate wipe, make sure everything's clean. And there you have it. A beautiful light summer dish, pistachio crusted fish, cauliflower tabbouleh, and a delicious lime and curry vinaigrette. Hope you've enjoyed today's cooking, and I hope to see you soon.
The award-winning and highly respected Culinary Arts program at Joliet Junior College provides world-class learning and hands-on experience that cover all aspects of the culinary industry. Accredited by the American Culinary Federation Education Foundation, JJC's Culinary Arts program provides training for future chefs, pastry chefs, bakers, caterers, restaurant and food service managers, and entrepreneurs. Students learn by working on the latest equipment in state-of-the-art facilities that were built in 2017. JJC's City Center campus features 2 fully functional student-run restaurants that provide students with the ultimate in both back-of-house and front-of-house learning experiences. The Culinary Arts faculty is composed of full-time, multi-certified culinary and hospitality industry instructors with a combined total of over 140 years of industry experience. JJC currently offers an associate degree in culinary arts and 3 baking and pastry arts certificates. Students pursuing a certificate or degree in the culinary arts program will learn the relevant skills needed to eventually become a supervisor, manager, or business owner in the culinary and hospitality industry. Visit jjc.edu/journey for more information.